Control the Sun, Jack and Christian.
Hey, hey.
Welcome.
Hello.
um, this is I like to do a lot of research on bands, and I like to go back through, the band history and find out a little bit about them and that. And you guys have got no band history. Going to be the first show is Froth and Fury. I did try and watch the video today, but you still had it on private on YouTube, so I couldn't see it.
Right.
That's fine. Obviously, you guys have history elsewhere, but for Control the Sun, you guys are basically, well, based on Instagram, you're only 11 months old. So I watched your YouTube video about the history, but do you want to give us a little bit of who you are, how you came about?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just sort of jump through. We'll jump between each other. We've been through a bit of a journey. This band is the product of COVID kind of ending two other bands, and it sort of came from my old band Calibrium, and I was in that band with Chris and with Matt. Everything sort of fell apart for heaps of musicians, venues. The industry, I guess, as a whole suffered a lot, and we were part of that because it was just, it was very hard to do a lot. And Matt and I sort of had unfinished business with a lot of riffs and ideas, and we spent a bunch of time just working on stuff like in my apartment, mucking around with songs and stuff that we hadn't really finished Equilibrium, and then we had these ideas and we're like, well, let's try something else, get a bit of new energy going, and then we sort of started really building out what we were thinking was going to be this new project, and then you can't really get too far into a writing process without a drummer. So we spent a fair bit of time and a few attempts lobbying this guy, who, as all good drummers are, very busy, have a lot of things on, and it was pretty tough. Jack, we harassed you a bit.
It was one of those things like, I guess, as we were saying, or as Christian was saying, with the COVID thing sort of stopping a lot of what we were doing previously. I was in a position where there was, I went back into, I guess, my hired gun mode, because I've always worked as a session guy outside of bands, and it was at the time they'd asked me, and I kind of was like, they go, hey Jack, how about it? And I said, nah, too busy. A couple of times more, nah, sorry, still too busy.
Yep.
But finally, I guess the stars aligned, and I really wanted to get back into doing something a bit heavier, and the guys wanted to kind of push more in that kind of direction. And also, we're all, in terms of music-wise, we all enjoy stuff that's a little bit more on the, I guess, progressive vein, if you will. And so we as we started writing the music, it very much went down a road that was part heavy, part progressive, still kind of hooky and fun, and I guess it's sort of morphed into where we are now. We find
it kind of hard to define at times, because we take elements of different stuff, and this is sort of back to the origin part that you're talking about. Jack was in a band called Japan, and they did pretty well. As far as Australian market goes, Equilibrium did okay as well. But we used to play shows together. Like, we did. I think we played a couple of supports for you as a headline, and I think you played with us once in that capacity. And then we both played supports as like first and second for other bands that were touring. So we like knew each other. And Adelaide's small, right? It's very much a community that most people just kind of know each other. But that's the thing. Like we definitely had that history, and part of, I guess, the reason that you agreed is because it wasn't like some randoms asking you to join a band. Like we knew each other. Like we'd all bled together in a sense.
We definitely we'd travelled the roads, so we all kind of knew that if we were going to do something, we wanted to do it properly.
Yeah.
And herein lies the thing for us as well, coming into Froth and Fury. for a first show, what a great way to be able to do that.
Yeah. So I suppose the question I have to follow on from that in then is, how tight is your sphincter about that being the first show?
Do you know what? We got this. Like we've been working on this project for a while. We're all pretty seasoned guys live. Like we've played to a lot of different sizes of crowds, and we've played lots of shows. Like we've got good mileage on all of us. But playing the main stage at a festival like this, it's definitely going to be a level up. But I think when you say how tight's our sphincter, well, I guess that is all about how tight we are as a band before we even get there on the day, right? If you want to use that as a way of putting it.
Preparation is key.
Like we got to be prepared, but we know what we got to do. I think the production will be interesting. The size of the stage will be interesting. Like I said, we've played bigger indoor shows, and we've all done toured and gone into state and stuff like that. But this will be, as a first show for a band, it's about as good as it gets, especially in Adelaide, right?
Well, yeah, because usually like the first show that any band plays is at some small little pub or bar.
RSL club or something.
You're all kind of cramped up on the stage together. The guitars are hitting each other and whatever else.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice for the boys to have room to run around, and then I can kind of also stretch out. I can't really run too far because I'll be behind the kit, but yeah, it'll be cool.
Hang on, never say never, right? Like you might get up to a victory lap after a song or something. You've got a big part, so
yeah, if I get it right, then I might just run around the stage and be like,
Big stage, yeah.
Yes! It is. Yeah, well, it's gonna be. Yeah, and I guess back to that, it's like we actually set out. And back onto it being a first show as a thing, we set out when we built this project and put it together to, like Jack said, we want to do this properly. So we want to come out of the gate well, and not in the sense that we wouldn't want to play smaller shows, but we believe we've built a product that's ready to go and do that, right? And that's why it's taken us a while, because if you build it properly, then you are live ready and the product's ready, as opposed to we're not like learning the songs still or finding are we going to be louder in this part, or is this chorus going to be bigger, or is that breakdown going to work? It's like these songs are built, the live product's essentially built, and I think it was a show to ourselves. It's like let's roll this one properly, and then we'll come out from from the studio, from the cave, and go out to the public with a bang. And I think that the big one is we're so grateful for Jason seeing that we have the potential to do it and we can deliver, because he's put faith in us to be able to put together a good set, and we approached in a way where it's like we know what we're doing. Like, give us a shot. It's going to be really good for us as a band, and also it tells a good story because it shows Jason supporting up and coming artists that are. We've had our history and we know what we're doing, but we are essentially a brand new band. So it shows Froth is supporting that local music scene, which is awesome because we need it.
It's giving a platform for new heavy music, especially coming out of South Australia and now WA really. So it's one of those things where maybe some would say it's taking a punt, but at the same time it's a proven festival. People love Froth and Fury. We've been to Froth and Fury. It's one of those things where now being able to be a part of that adds I guess for us some extra sort of really some really good feelings about all of this, and also it makes us realise that it's really not just for the big boys.
Yeah.
It's being supported at a local level at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
You're talking about obviously the new history that you guys are creating by being your first show. Then there's the old history of where you came from, and I've seen both you bands play. Admittedly, your band more Christians, so I have to be honest. I was at that Steel Panther show as well, Jack, so I did see you there as well. So
Yeah.
that'll haunt you
Yeah.
to the day you die. So,
It is going to haunt him until he dies, guaranteed. Yeah.
It's fine. I made my bed.
it was Hot for Teacher from memory. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so the when people go and watch you guys, when you open up that festival, is it going to be all new Control the Sun songs, or will there be nods to the past that come in, that people will be able to relate to?
I think we kind of, whilst there's a lot of the previous history with both of our bands, the idea is that this is completely new.
Yeah.
This is something different.
Yeah.
We're coming out of the gates. It might have some stuff that sort of is reminiscent of both previous bands, but this is completely brand new music.
Yeah, and I think with that, we set out to do something. Like I guarantee you, like if you've heard some Equilibrium songs, you'll pick stuff in my playing and some of the riffs that Matt's written that. Like you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe there's something. It can literally be things like rhythms. Like you might have a rhythm that's familiar that we might have just subconsciously had stored, but the sound itself, this product, this group of songs that we've written is, I think, it was intentional. Like we were like, we want to go out of what we were doing before. Like I was saying before, in that process where Matt and I had all these other riffs we were working on, we sort of started this thing. We set out to go, no, let's go heavier and let's tune down more. Let's be a little bit more, not necessarily technical, but let's
taking an extra risk.
Correct.
Musically.
It's less safe than stuff would have done before, but also in the sense that we wanted to like push ourselves, because tell you what, we've been rehearsing and we're ready to go, but when you spend so long writing songs that are pretty involved, and then you go, oh, hang on, we've got to learn these, and then you realise like what you've done. But that was a goal. Like, let's push ourselves live and let's see what we can really do, and that keeps us like, it keeps the energy going because you're never bored because you've got a lot going on, right? So it's definitely a new sound, but we've definitely drawn on a lot of our like, good example, since Equilibrium, I've really got into heaps heavier music, as has Matt Mitras, the other guitarist. I'm a massive Periphery fan now. I'm a big Meshuggah fan now. Like I've gotten into Opeth a lot. Like I'm into music that I wasn't really listening to back then. So from the guitar side of things specifically, there's loads of that sort of stuff that you'll go, oh, okay, like they've got influences that are different. So that will probably translate into sort of things to expect. And I guess, from the vocal side of things, Chris is Chris,
Yeah. I was going to ask about that, yeah.
The beautiful thing with having someone like Chris Gard on vocals is that his range is so broad with stylistically things he can do, as well as just his generalised vocal range. He's got such a great grasp on so many different ideas, and he's like, they're always coming at you with so he's great in that and this is how it all sort of came about with Chris. We literally would just send him some demos that we had, we'd worked on, and then he would come back in like a day or 2 days or a week or whatever it was, however long it took, and there'd just be all these finished songs.
And that's legit. The stuff that Chris sent back is what's in the song. Meaning, there's a couple of times when we're like, oh, maybe change this. And when we say change this, we're talking about like a rest in a word, not like a whole verse. So Chris, he likes the music and he figured out what we're doing straight away. And again, most of what are in the songs now, most of what is in the songs now, and those ideas were the first things he sent back. It's like, okay, like, because we got stuff back, it's like, well, you have to be the singer. Because we spent a long time trying to find the right person, and Chris wasn't really interested.
Well, he wasn't really interested in doing
anything. Yeah,
musically.
he was sort of done, like he's He's got family, and he runs his own business and stuff like that. And then we were having trouble just finding the right fit. We went through a whole bunch of different people who all brought great ideas, but it's like didn't really sit as we wanted it to. And then I showed him stuff way earlier, and he says, "No, look, not just not really into it." As general singing in a group again. And then it was down the track. We had more polished demos, and they were sort of ready. They're in the ready folder in the Dropbox. It's like if they're in that. We sent him the ready folder Dropbox stuff, which was almost like complete songs, and that's when he's like, yeah. He's like, and he just started sending back ideas. We just kept getting WAV files back in the box sent to us, and we're like, okay, well, this is a thing. So there you go.
And there's a big part of myself where it was quite funny because we'd been looking for such a long time to try to find someone who was a suitor or the right fit for what we do. And it was sort of like, because Chris had always just been right there in front of our face.
And he was hiding in plain sight. Yeah.
Because he's just a mate of ours.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like this whole band. It's cool because we're all just mates. But I digress. He sends back all these songs that are basically just, as far as we were concerned, pretty well just done. And it was one of those moments where we just go, well, I guess we got to.
I guess he's the singer.
I guess he's the guy now.
Yeah.
When I watched the YouTube video, that seemed to be the same story about the bassist as well. I guess you're the bassist. Yeah.
Yeah. That was similar in a sense that, like we had it in that sort of how we formed video. We both had the same music teacher at school. I was a year above him, 2 years above him. And then that music teacher was having his 50th, and he picked a bunch of his students that, sort of near and dear students that we became good friends after school. And he's like, hey, I wanted you guys to play in a band for my 50th and put this band together. So I rock up to this rehearsal. I'd never met Jared before. And it was in the first conversation we had, as I was literally saying hello, it was like, what band's you in? And he's like, this. And he's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm in this progmetal band. And he says, who's in it? I said, oh, Jack. And he's like, Jack? I said, yeah, Jack. And he's like, oh. And I said, we need a bass player. He's like, I'm the bass player. And that was it. We just made the decision straight away. Because he was mucking around and playing. I could tell within about 30 seconds because he was warming up. I was like, you could just see in his posture, you could see everything he was doing. It's like, he is a real bass player. Like, he knows what he's doing. And yeah, when you play with enough people over the years, when you see someone, typically in the first 30 seconds, you know they're a good operator. And that was one of those. Yeah, but Jared, same sort of thing. It's like, you're the bass player. So.
And for me with Jared, because him and I have a relatively long history, we actually studied at the Adelaide Conservatorium of Music together. So we came in at the same year. We were in a lot of the same classes together. Then we ended up being in, I guess, the Adelaide music scene, playing in different sort of covers, outfits, and bands and la-di-da-di-da. And then we ended up working together. So now we actually work together at Derringer's Music. And it was one of those things too where he was like, oh, hey, I spoke to Christian about a band, and he was like, oh, I hear you're playing in the band. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, well, we need to find a bass player. And he was like, well, I think I'm the guy.
Yeah, I think I'm in already.
So there was all these sort of little things that were weaving towards one particular direction, and they all kind of collided.
Yeah, we've been lucky like that.
We're going to get to the bits where we put you on the spot now.
Okay.
So, because obviously no one's seen your band play. So, how would you describe your band when we go to watch them?
Technical yet fun, a little bit wacky, but also at the same time very polished.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. Well, that'll be fine.
But yeah, I also think it's the aim is that you'll still be able to bang ahead whilst listening to something that's kind of technical.
Yeah. We had a goal. Part of when Matt and I were sort of starting this, and we really stuck to our goals, but to have heavy huge riffs and accessible vocals and things that it's not. Some bands they you don't really have a I guess a style or something you're trying to go with. It just sort of whatever comes out. We haven't really engineered what we were going to be bringing to the stage, but in a sense it also has been. We had a plan. We want it to be something where it's huge, it's big. We are the set that we've put together is pretty much high energy the whole way. We've got half an hour. We're opening the festival. We want to get people's attention, get everyone razzed up. So there's big riffs and some pretty hefty moments in there. So yeah, it's going to be cool. We just I think it's going to be interesting to put what we've got through a big sound system because
big fat riffs,
lots of down-tuned stuff. There's some breakdowns in there. Lots of unison guitar stuff. Jack, you're having a bit of a field day with a lot of these songs on the drums. There's some, it's fun. It's fun if you go to watch a band and you like watching the instrumental side and you like watching the musicianship, you'll enjoy it. But at the same time, we're also trying not to take the piss either and make it accessible. So, like I'll show it to like a work colleague. I'm like, what do you think of this? They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. As opposed to it might just be a series of tapping things for 2 minutes or something like that. It's a little bit over the level of people's attention spans. And our songs, we keep most of them sort of under 4 minutes. They're like, let's get in, get you interested, smash it out, and then get it done before we're doing 8-minute long epics or 10-minute long epics. So that's sort of the goal.
Yeah, it's heavy, it's fat, it's progressive without being too 10-minute opus epic.
Yeah.
But so
Dream Theater 23-minute songs. We haven't done any of that. I think the longest one we've got in the set is 5 on the dot. So yeah, let's party. That's kind of the plan. Let's smash it. So yeah.
I was got time for musical wankery at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's
but that's the thing. We actually also are going to be running a competition, and because we want people to get there early. So what we're going to do, and this is it's a bit of fun. When we're on stage, if you take a selfie and then we're in the background on stage, and it has to be creative and has to be cool. But the coolest selfie taken while we're playing with us in the background. We're going to pick on the day, the best one. We'll find you through socials. You're going to tag us and tag Froth and Fury in your post. And the winner gets 2 $100 JB Hi-Fi vouchers and t-shirt. So that's something we thought. We want to get people there early. And we also, it's our first gig. So, let's do something fun. So we want to see some hilarity and some craziness, but yeah, we're going to call it the Frothy competition, or the Frothy selfie competition, or something like that. But yeah, that's something we're going to do. So we will, we'll have a bit of fun with that, and hopefully you're going to see some stupid stuff. We're sure it'll happen.
We can't wait to be a part of Froth and Fury Festival 2026. Make sure to get there early because we will be opening up the main stage. Get your tickets now.